Welcome to Pardon the Interruption. I'm your host, Sam Durham, alongside Jacob Orlick, Ricky Williams, and Ryan Schlesinger. Today, we're going to be talking about the greatest single-season NBA team. We got thinking after the Celtics won that championship last night. I'm going to start with Ryan, work our way all the way here to Jacob. Ryan, what do you think?
Yeah, I think the Celtics are definitely up there after dominating through the playoffs. But I'm going to go a few years back to the 2016 through 2017 Warriors. It was the second most wins they've had in their franchise history, 67. The year they won 73, they lost 9 games. They could not get the job done. They blew a 3-1 lead in the finals. So I'm going with the team that just lost 6 less games, and they got the job done against Cleveland in the finals. I mean, who's beating that Warriors team? I can't name any team that's better than prime Stephen Curry, prime Kevin Durant. Klay Thompson was probably one of the best pure shooters in the league at that time. Draymond Green was a beast before he was getting all those flagrant fouls. And, yeah, I don't know who's beating that team.
That's a good take, but, you said how many wins?
67.
67. I'm going to go back two years prior to that. I'll say the 2014 Spurs. And the reason why. But the years prior to that, they're considered as the best winningest team, having multiple. They've had like 10 straight seasons where they just had 50+ wins. They won the championship that year, and they were coached by the Hall of Famer Greg Popovich. I don't think anybody in the history of the NBA had a better team than prime Tim Duncan, prime Manu notably, Danny Green, Malcolm Thomas, and a ton of other role players that were crucial to the Spurs winning that championship and having one of the best records in NBA history.
Yeah, I get what you're saying, but that's the same exact thing for the Warriors. The Warriors broke the single-season win record the year before that. They just couldn't get the job done in the playoffs, and they did it the next year. They got the job done in the playoffs, and that started a dynasty. They won many more championships in the next few years. They make the finals pretty much every year until the pandemic.
They only won those two. It was 2015. No, in 2015, they lost in 2016. Won 2017, 2018. The Spurs, they had a complete dynasty all the way from, I'm pretty sure, 1998 all the way to 2014. They won championship at the championship, beating super teams. They beat the Heat. They beat the Heat in the 2014 season, which is probably one of the best teams in the season right there.
Yeah, I mean the Warriors won 3. They won it in 2022 as well. So the Spurs, they won 2 in that era, and the Heat won 2 in that era. So I don't really know. I'm gonna have to take the Warriors.
Got a 3-person field here, so we're gonna send it over to Jacob's take.
All right, guys. Now that you all have spoken, it's time that we bring up the 1966 and 1967 Philadelphia 76ers, led by Wilt Chamberlain. 68-13. And Wilt Chamberlain averaged 24 and 24. 24 points, 24 rebounds, and breezed their way to an NBA championship that year, the team's first all time.
I'm going to have to rebuttal that. I mean, Wilt Chamberlain, I respect the 24 and 24. He was going up against USPS drivers, okay? I mean, absolute mailman on the boards. 60 wins is cute. No, I'm going to go with the 95-96 Bulls simply because 72 wins, you finish off the job. They've never heard of Game 7. You have the best coach in the league. You have the best overall player in the league. You have the best rebounder and defensive player in the league. And then you have the best wingman in the league. Not to mention the Warriors coach, Steve Kerr, coming off the bench there. So you have some bench depth there as well as Tony Kukoc and all them. I'm just going to go with this team. I mean, they really showed no weaknesses the entire season, and this was just after he came back from playing baseball. So you can only imagine how dominant he would have been if he played basketball those years.
You say that about the Bulls. They had a ton of good players. They had the best rebounder in the league. The Warriors had Draymond Green, basically the Dennis Rodman of that era. And other than LeBron, Curry and Durant were both at least top 5, arguably 2 and 3 behind LeBron during that era. Klay Thompson was the best shooter in the league. I don't see much differences. I think the Warriors are right there with the Bulls.
There's no 2 and 3 top 5. We got the best player, so I'm gonna go with the Bulls.
I feel like for the Warriors, there were better teams that could have definitely the OKC Thunder. KD was okay.
KD was on this Warriors team.
I say probably the Houston team because they took them to game 7. They took them to 7 games, and Houston probably would have won it if Chris Paul didn't get injured. So.
I got the Warriors.
And I feel like for the Bulls, like who did they really go against? I mean, yeah, you could have had one of the greatest seasons of all time, but it depends on like who would you go against. The Spurs, they went against the Dirk Nowitzki led Dallas Mavs, Portland Trailblazers, and the stacked OKC team, and then the Miami Heat.
And let me remind you that the Philadelphia that the Philadelphia 76ers, when they went on that run, had to play Oscar Robertson, Bill Russell, and Rick Barry all in the same playoffs, and they won it all.
But it's not a one-person team. It's not a one-person game.
It's the
5
superstar
players
of every team, and you're also saying that
Well,
Dirk Nowitzki led. So
No, it was Dirk Nowitzki, Jason Kidd, Jason Terry. They were all pretty good players. And then the Miami Heat had LeBron, D. Wade, and Bosh. Like, who else is stopping that?
Very interesting takes across the board. We're going to have a 4-person show all day coming back from the break. Garrett Cole coming back on Wednesday. And the Phillies really smoking the Padres last night. That's all for this segment. We'll be right back after the break.